right, it's officially 6:05, 5 minutes after. I'm gonna go ahead and instruct folks who are checking in. Please check in as quietly as you can. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kick us off. Jason, you want to start us off, or Manera?
Thank you, Council. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the scoping meeting for the Pleasant Hills Golf Course Redevelopment Project. My name is Manira Sanghir. I'm the Deputy Director of Planning. And I want to introduce, first of all, the city staff really quickly. So we have a great team supporting us. We have Jason Lee, who's the project planner. We have David Keon, who is the principal planner over the environmental review team. We have Alec Atienza, who will be helping us manage the community comments portion. At the floor in the back, we have New and Bethlehem, who are planners who are helping people sign in. Rima is our project planner on the environmental review side. This is a big project, so we do have two planners who are jointly working on this. We also have staff from the Department of Transportation and Public Works, and they're right here. Sorry, I was like, they're just a minute ago. So we do have all the staff present here to hear your comments and understand what the community's concerns are for this project. I will welcome Councilmember Candelas to this meeting, and we will kick off with some comments from him.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So good evening, everybody. For those of you who may not know who I am, I'm your council member. I'm Domingo Candelas. I want to kick us off by thanking our planning staff for helping quarterback this meeting and essentially walking us through a complex but critical process. In attendance, we have our planning director, Chris Burton. Chris, you want to introduce you? Stand up. Come on, Chris. No. So that's our planning director for the city. We also have staff from Mayor Mahan's office. I believe. Oh yeah. See, we have Priya here from the mayor's office, and so we also have the applicant. They're also in attendance for this project. I want to thank first and foremost all of you. Thanking you for taking the time to stay engaged and to lend your voice to this discussion. I want to just also kick us off with dispelling some myths, okay? No, the project has not been approved, and no, there are not 4,000 homes coming to this space. Just putting that out there. There are still too many questions that need to be answered, and a lot of work that still needs to be done. Over the past 2 years, our community has come together to develop a set of guiding principles for this site. That process was extensive and thoughtful, and it made one thing very clear, and that's neighbors want to see a project that reflects the character, values, and our priorities as a community. And tonight's meeting is an important next step, and it's the formal start to our environmental impact report process. And this is where the city will study potential impacts related to traffic, noise, air quality, and other environmental qualities. All the factors that essentially affect our day-to-day life. What you share tonight helps determine that the environmental factors to be addressed and ensures, more importantly, that no concern is overlooked. I understand there are many perspectives, external pressures surrounding any potential project, including the number of units, the conversation around the number of units, housing units, the square footage of commercial space, the acreage of parks, etc. But this meeting is not about addressing our city's housing, jobs, and ballots, and it's not about having a debate about the city's environmental or housing needs. It's about making sure that whatever happens, our community's voice and values are addressed at the foundation of whatever proposal comes at the end of this process. I firmly believe that any project that moves forward has to include a meaningful community benefits package and one that mitigates impacts, improves quality of life, and upholds the principles that our neighborhood has not only defined, but established through those guiding principles that I mentioned. So please, stay engaged, ask questions, and share your thoughts as well as your concerns. This process only works when everybody who's here participates. Thank you again for being here. I look forward to hearing from all of you. I'm going to be here. I'm not just going to go. I'm going to be here for the entire conversation to listen to the concerns that we as neighbors have. One last thing before I kick it back to city planning staff. In attendance, we also have Mount Pleasant School Trustee Marissa Gott Lopez, who just walked in. Thank you to the August Boeger Middle School for allowing us to be here. And we also have our District 8 Planning Commissioner, Dilpreet Bandal, in attendance. So if you're an elected official, I'm sorry I missed you, but the shows continue. Here you go.
Thank you, Council Member. All right, a couple of logistics. So just wanted to note that, in case of an emergency, we do have an exit here, the 2 exits in the back. Restrooms are located out and to the right. So just wanted to share that out. I wanted to echo what Councilmember Candela said. This is the first step in the process, and the process is expected to be at least 18 months, if not longer, 18 months to 2 years. And we're really here to listen from the community and hear from the community what your concerns are about the project. This is a scoping meeting, so at this point we're just scoping what should be evaluated in the environmental impact report. And so we'll be taking diligent notes. We have, as I said, plenty of staff members who will be noting down all of your comments so that they can be adequately addressed through this process. I wanted to share, just a brief summary of the project before you. So as you know, this is on the Pleasant Hills Golf Course site, which is about a 113-acre site. And currently the applicant has proposed 2,000 units and approximately 50,000 square feet of commercial space. We will go into further details here in a minute. I did want to note that, typically when an EIR is developed, an environmental impact report is developed, we do look at alternatives, and that is as a process to inform the decision makers on what is the potential at this site, or what are the environmental impacts of different scales and different types of projects at this site. So there will be alternatives evaluated, such as a no project alternative, or perhaps a reduced project alternative that may be even less than 2,000 units. In this case, there is an attempt to look at a 2,850-unit project alternative as well on the site, which is a little unusual. So we did put that on the agenda so everybody understands that the city is doing this for full disclosure. With that, I think I will turn it over to Jason to dive into the actual project description.
All right, thank you, Manhira. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Lee. I'm the implementation planner on this project, the project planner. I'm going to start with some information. You're going to have to speak louder. Does this not work? Does this not? That's better. Okay, all right. I'm going to start with some information and set some ground rules for how this meeting will be conducted. So if you don't know already, there are agendas at the entrance with some information about the project, the meeting agenda, a description of the California Environmental Quality Act, and a community meeting code of conduct. Please adhere to the code of conduct. The agenda also includes a QR code for the notice of preparation page for this project, as well as REMA's contact information if you have comments later. This meeting is being recorded, as you can see at the center, in the center aisle, and if we do have a viable recording, we will post this in the next couple days, maybe week. And if so, that will also be included on the project website in the next update. Lastly, this is an EIR scoping meeting, environmental impact report scoping meeting, and not a public hearing. So as the council member said, this project is not approved at this point, and no approval or denial of the project will take place today. There will be a future community meeting for this project, which will focus on the physical development of the project, and a date for that meeting has not yet been set. That meeting and eventually hearings for this project will be noticed at the same 2,000-foot radius, or 2,500-foot radius, sorry, that this meeting was noticed at. So any properties and owners and tenants within 2,500 feet of the project site will be mailed notices prior to any formal community meetings and any public hearings. If you're not within that radius, meaning you have not received a community meeting notice for this meeting, we sent 2 of them in the mail, and you wish to receive additional communications about this project, Please make sure you signed in with a legible email, or if you did not, you can email myself or Rima to be added to the interested parties list. All right. All right. So this is going to be a quick agenda for today. So we'll go over the current project on file, which was actually resubmitted with changes last Friday. If you were on the interested parties list, you got an email from me with the new project plans on Monday, I believe. And then Rima will go over the CEQA and environmental process. Then we will have public comment. As the purpose of this meeting is to provide direction on the scope of the environmental impact report, this basically will be your opportunity, or one opportunity, to give comments and feedback about the scope that we should study in the EIR. During the public comment period, we will call out names on submitted speaker cards, so the yellow cards, in the order that they've been received and brought up. Those were available at the entrance, but if you did not submit a speaker card yet and you wish to speak, please raise your hand at this time, and some staff members will bring that to you. And if you have speaker cards, please give it to them and you can bring it to the front. Due to the number of people here today and the amount of time we have in this facility, we do expect that comments will be limited to 1 minute. If you're unable to speak or if you're unable to finish your comment, please submit comments in writing to Rima at the email shown, or you can email written comments or write written comments on the pink comment sheets, and please make sure they're legible, and if you're done today, please drop them off at the back table. Lastly, as this is an EIR scoping meeting, staff is generally taking note of comments and generally will not be responding to comments during the public comment period, unless there are gross inaccuracies in the comments provided. So since this facility is rented until 8, we will adjourn the meeting at about 8 o'clock, and we will try to answer questions before 8. Otherwise, staff will be around after the meeting to be able to answer questions, or you can email questions to myself and Rima, and we can answer them in due course. Now the actual project. All right, so this is the site description, which is the former Pleasant Hills Golf Course, approximately 113.5 acres, and is within unincorporated Santa Clara County at this point, so it is not within the jurisdiction of the city of San Jose at this time. It is, however, within the city's sphere of influence, so it does have a general plan designation, which is private recreation open space, which befits its former golf course use, but it does not have a zoning district within the city because it is not within the city at this time. All right, next slide. All right, so there are 5 applications on file for this project. So, like I mentioned, the applicants did resubmit the project last Friday. So there are changes in the project description from what is shown currently on the website and on the on-site signs. These will be updated as able. Hopefully I can get the website updated in the next week or 2. We do note that this is early in the process. This is an EIR scoping meeting, obviously, and that these descriptions are subject to change as the applicant refines the project in response to comments from the city and from the community. So, there are 5 applications on file. The first is Evergreen 204, which is for annexation of the site. Currently, this includes 3 parcels of the golf course, but the EIR is also going to study annexation of a remainder residential parcel on Flint Road on the northern corner of the site, which the city may have to annex under state law. So the annexation is a required component of this project if the city were to provide services for the site. The second is GP 22-010, which is a general plan amendment to change the site's general plan designation from private recreation and open space to mostly mixed-use neighborhood and 1 parcel of urban residential. A general plan designation basically gives an overview of what would be allowed on the site. And this kind of change is required for this type of project because the PROS designation does not allow residential, and MUN and UR do. And the third is PDC 25-015, which is a plan development pre-zoning to pre-zone the site to the MUN PD plan development zoning district. So this proposal right now would allow up to 50,000 square feet of commercial space, approximately 13 acres of private open space in the form of private parks, and up to 2,000 residential units across the site. So plan development zoning would establish at a more granular level what type of construction, what type of project is allowed on each portion of the site, and would establish development standards for each portion of the site. Fourth application is on the next slide, and it's PD 25-007. This is a plan development permit, which, if approved, would approve some construction on the site. The current request is for 64 single-family houses only in neighborhoods 1 and 5, which are on the southeastern portion of the site, so near the intersection of Tully and Vista Verde. And it would also establish a master plan to basically do everything that I said the plan development zoning would do. So it would establish a layout based off of the plan development zoning. And then last application is a best tentative map, which would subdivide the existing golf course parcels into 98 parcels, for now would be the 64 single-family lots proposed with the plan development permit, 19 lots for future residential neighborhoods, so it would be a neighborhood unsubdivided, you'll see that on the next slide, 6 open space lots and 9 street lots. All right, and this is the conceptual site plan, which is currently on file and which is being studied as the basis for the environmental impact report. So again, this is a conceptual site plan, so it is in progress and liable to change throughout the project and the permit process, and potentially even future permit processes if this goes through the process and is approved. So as currently proposed, the project includes 2,000 units, 621 of which would be in the 2 mixed-use buildings in neighborhood 4, nearest to the Tully and White intersection. And then the rest of the 17 neighborhoods throughout the site would include 1,379 single-family and townhome units. Next slide. And I'm going to throw it over to Rima.
Thank you, Jason. Can everyone hear me at the back? No. No? How about now?
A little bit better.
Okay, I'll try to speak as loud as I can. So this is the environmental scoping. Okay, how about this? Now? Okay, now you can hear me. I can hear myself too. So this is part of the California Environmental Quality Act, which of course the city has to comply with, and as part of that, we have to do environmental review for all projects that come across the city. So for this particular project, it is a very big project. We are preparing an environmental impact report. It's the most intensive analysis you can do under CEQA review. As part of that process, we have to have what CEQA calls a scoping meeting. In other words, we need to have input from the community as to what topics we will need to analyze in the environmental impact report. And so the purpose of today's meeting is to get that information from all of you who are here today, and Also remember that you can always send me comments. My email is on a lot of the documentation we have available. And you have till November 21st to submit comments. So if you don't get to submit your comments today and you think of something in the next few days, you still have plenty of time to get that information to us. And the reason we have a deadline is because the city's consultants need this information and they need to do technical analyses, and that takes time as well. All right, so today we can take verbal comments, the yellow speaker cards, and as has been said before, if you want to write your comments and submit it to us, do it on the pink forms. There are some forms in the back and also on the side over there. And if you don't do either of those today, you can always email me. So the purpose of today's meeting is to also tell you what we're going to be looking at in the EIR as of right now. The next slide, please. Many of you are probably familiar with the Environmental Impact Report. We looked at several resource areas that are pretty typical of CEQA documents and environmental impact reports. Those resource areas are listed on the slide. But in addition to that, the environmental impact report will also look at mitigation measures for any resource areas where the analysis shows that there is the potential for a significant impact. So some of you have already submitted comments to us. You've talked about the trees on the site, coyotes on the site. Those are all things that we will consider when we respond to your comments in the EIR. The other thing that the EIR will address is alternatives to the project. We've already talked about one development alternative, which is the 2,800 units potentially, but we'll also consider alternatives that would reduce any potentially significant impacts to less than significant levels. There is always the possibility that we may not be able to do that, in which case we will identify those impacts as significant and unavoidable impacts. The third thing that I'd like to bring your attention to is the cumulative impact analysis. This is where we'll look at the cumulative impacts of this project in comparison with present, past, and future projects in the general area. Next slide, please. All right, so this is a rough idea of how the process works. We are right now in box 1, where we've sent out the notice of preparation of this EIR, and we are taking comments from the public. So you have till November 21st to submit your comments. The next step is the preparation of the environmental impact report. So the consultants and the city staff will work together to prepare the draft environmental impact report, and then we will publish it for public review. And if you signed in either at this meeting or at another community meeting for this project, you will receive a notice when the draft EIR is available for your review. That process will give you 45 days, roughly 6.5 weeks, to submit your comments on the draft EIR. And the city will address all of your comments and prepare the final EIR. The final EIR will be posted. Again, if you signed up with the city, you will get a notice when that document is available for review. And then the next step in the process are the hearings. And the hearings are another opportunity for you to comment on the project in front of the Planning Commission and the City Council. And to talk a little bit more about the future opportunities to voice your comments, I'm going to pass it back to Jason.
All right, thanks, Rima. I think next slide, actually. Well, this first. So, scoping comments. Yeah, we've gone through this, but if you have scoping comments and you're unable to make them today, please send them to Rima. The public hearing process for this will generally, this will be after the final EIR is published and ready for review. And these all provide, at least the first two hearings will provide public comment opportunities. So the first is a planning commission meeting where the recommendation on the resolution to certify the EIR, the general plan amendment, the initiation of annexation, and the plan development rezoning will be at Planning Commission for a recommendation. The Planning Commission does not make a decision on this, but they do make a recommendation to the city. They vote on a recommendation to the City Council. The second hearing is City Council, where they vote on the 4 things that are recommended by Planning Commission. So City Council can vote to approve or deny the project, basically, regardless of what Planning Commission decides. And then if City Council approves the project, it would come back to City Council for a resolution ordering the annexation. So it would go, and then if that happens, it goes to LAFCO, which is the Santa Clara Local Agency Formation Commission, and they would annex. Basically, they would certify the annexation, and the site would become part of the city of San Jose. Once that happens, once the plan development pre-zoning is effective, the project, meaning the plan development permit and the tentative map, would come back for a director's hearing. This cannot, under current city code, be considered until parcels are formally annexed into the city. I would say there is, based on how long this process is, we do expect that the first hearing for this project would be no earlier than fall 2027. And there could be further changes to the timeline as the project moves along. Also, parallel changes going to fall 2027 or beyond could change the project, change this hearing schedule where the plan development permit and the tentative map could be part of the Planning Commission's recommendation and the City Council decision. So this is the current process. We don't expect this to start until fall 2027 at the earliest. It will be after the final EIR is published. So it is a while from now. So, but that is ultimately the process for the application. All right, I think next up is going to be public comment. So we will start calling people up to the mic. If you do wish to speak and you haven't turned in a yellow comment card, or if